o client walande na omuhia no airport na baby fe na ye bi tan ye okuna yi kura wa ama e de ne ma ne ba de botai o de ba ne say
about holidays or buffy amanye bi also ye was in Ghana no also koto or lawyer wa ha about also besra me but pin dey egusu pa ye ho adwuma
e de ne si okwan se obetu obayifo say omra maye okuna yi ni bi na mpo daachi bia no since ayi na chi no na fe no oba na nkrofo chirihira no ade ama otim se obetunu se omra na afe ya bibia wi no ana ho de nya wasam
no sir you share circumstances now the year na she couldn't have come because
Ye nyina ye bisa ye ho se ede ade pote ene de maame Akosua se wa ba be pie mu e wo Ghana is it selumba yie no ene obeye ne foforo ana se ejapade ho nsesem court of appeal sem no eno so ene de no aba be pie mu ana sisi ameka sei ne lawyer Kusi aba be kasa aba be chebota ye pote a ede maame Akosua se wa ede ba na ene odogro ni din nyina e pie ma ha sei GhPage TV upesa advertise product and services a number na go screen as ne fa na pay for enchechen komo Friday nyane nti yese ye maame Akosua se waba be pie mu e wo Ghana at 8 p.m. we no Ghana for do na ekubo nchenku e wo Kotoka International Airport indeed maame Akosua se wa e ba be pie mu e wo honma ene ehu se maame odempanyimfo atitiu te se edom ekoye e ye ohima wo ye je Salimane mpo ye hu ye maame from Isobini ma no so ene maame Akosua se we hia ene ese ne ekoye na nya asem ketwa na endra Sunday ena maame Akosua se wa e ba be pie mu e wo Kumasi International Airport ene e ho soso no ye hu se ne edom no e be bo chenku e wo honom na amafo bebre na eni mbota airport a e de maame Akosua se wa e de be pie mu e wo he no e na no pay ya no ankasa ne lawyer Kusi wode aba be tuja ne wo ba be chechwe mbota airport a e de maame Akosua se wa e de ba be pie mu ewo eye Ghana ene Kumasi emisa for securing consumer service men kan show say open solar fans and air condition dia na watuedi ewo honom ye the new products e the aba market ayato ne din Canyon it's all per Canyon air conditions and solar fans dia eno ane ye ne ma ya tete so fofo se ne be ya obia ebetimi ato imposa osika nso a your flexible payment plan ewo ho e de maw ye cooling capacity no is very higher we no eno akasa ewo ha etimi rise up etimi rise down depending on the weather saso ena ye ne ma no quality futures a we no enya asem ketwa saso e satisfied enti we no wo fia obetimi use when consuming a lot of energy wo fie so we a real estate developer obetimi a contract a ye be install air conditions any ubibia e dia ma kama na business go screen asenfa na one yen ending komo eti msa for yen ko na yen te lawyer Kusi Emra
lawyer William Kusi ewa homa ne so me wa fa akwa ba
ejusumina
fishapa
asen komete
efie boko
boko pa
adwuma mso boko barely a week ni anase week muni a we ye active a we ye adwuma yi minister adwuma boko de
boko pa bibia ko na akwanso
na enwuma ben na wokọ Christmas na na so dai na otie wo ya na odwene ho abeya ka Christmas kwa yentwam na waba office abeya ho adwuma wo bai wa tackle ana abe obstacle adwuma be pa na si wani so pa so fa ye ka say wo first nwamienu ana number 1
number 1 akwaya be for so de ken de Japan ba be di MVP so na di power man no wasagan
number 2
Akosua se wa justice for Akosua Serwaa is number 2.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Aka.
Well, Abusha for me pa chobra angel na 6.1 Kumasi Facebook. Oti fie so na okra remote a na wakọ digibos ne so. Ubon Roger TV, ye live also. Ye show pictures, visual bibi e koso. Fine gentleman yo that's we and I make us an yiri penini a obey correction a fine. Na yiri penini Akosua Serwaa ne lawyer one ne court ko prepare niema ho a nyame ncha de say ye nyina no akoda di okra bia ate ase lawyer wadawroma bro nya chi na ehu se o client yi walande na omo hia no airport na baby fe na ye bi tan enura ne nekura de kote kura ne say wo ba Kumasi airport na nkrofo nim so obefo aeroplane meaning so na tu ni fo a ma ne fa car eti na obedu Kumasi na o say ohun say ne nkrofo je to say o sanfa fm de ekọ airport dan tia hwe abranti a won soma ma no nkogina ba bi mo ntim poda obeba be ka asem se do hu ni pepepe na enti e no kura ma me no wo de car na free and crime e bai Kumasi no hu say na chitafo wo prempe the first airport 20 no ko ho ana na wadaru mu makeka bom ye okuna ye kura wa ama e de ne ma ne bai de botai o de bai ne say
about holidays oba fie asanko into oba na just say amanye bi also ye was in Ghana no also koto or lawyer wa ha aba also besra me senkrata bu ha ye be shomani ahwem afuto bi amaje free no in terms of facts. I'm so legal advise them when I'm some their man. And that is exactly what she came to do. So far, so good. Do Accra almost was Kostra. About Kumasi or church and penny for especially when Jinamo Mano, a brand new Ghana. So we are in Krata also ye be a make sure so I answer no. But we are was uncle near to Juma, so I pin it a good super high young Juma. Once a process. And the years of best in San, Yamanas and Sans and Wako. Do a Yakojina Mamman, Sanity.
I shall for any Oba Penny Akosua Serwaa, the late icon Daddy Lumba, Naire, and I near Penny and an airborne commoner. Now, Oren Munyam for lawyer William Kusi, Kofara by Kofa, Dominion Chambers by the client, and now. Oba wo kumano na wodi nanim amamra atoto ne manyina yi amano no the late Daddy Lumba na yere ene ne ebon komo no lawyer wadawruma meyi adesua a wasua si nchen a with all due respect facha me menim se wo akani ede na si wo kwan se obetu oba yi fo se omra maye okuna yi ni bi na mpo daachi bia no sin se ayi na chi no na fe no oba na nkrofo chihira no ade ama otim se obetunu se omra na afi ya bibia wi na ana ho de nya wasam
But sir, you share circumstances now the year na she couldn't have come because a day before the year there was an application before the court na abusuafo no seek to restrain the court from moving ahead the head of family from moving ahead to perform the funeral. And she had that information, and we knew the circumstances, the facts before the court, the baby a court may grant it. Because at the time, no, there was a fire application. I call police headquarters. Omo person who they said buy ma lumba free move, which was a criminal matter. And the police actually can complain no more young Juma. And I was surprised. I was not surprised when initially it came to court not grant application. Because we have already a couldn't obedience about the investigations. So I was more surprised when we had the judge in Asanfre, the lawyers involved some Romans and years of no proof.
Now, lawyer, I want to own him. Now, me pay a emranim ni bi te say mumu bi ebeka court asem na ya ye nsem fata no ya bisa because me gina fidie so ye adwuma matiefo etie me bedi madanse say ye di nkomo no an ehunu say abusua no say omo empene so nti say ni na court nye e na court bu ya ye say the abusua ne kan modu ni say nti won ma mutumi eti ye de yesese ye ne ma afira fidie so akono ye beti ne say court say Emma okra frɛ ma ekoba sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ court san si enkonya foforo na emum ɛnya court dem wɔ sɛ de ɔka asɛm foforo no e ba to minim kwa mo fa sa mudi mu nsɛm na ɛhen fa mudi asɛm a edi mu na yin na mo tra enim
it was a strange occurrence adia yenye court chini sɛ court ma order bi saa so a fontus official which say his official capacity to pronounce on the matter and has been taken away from him. So this will be the application number or an appeal. It sounded impossible for a court to recall the parties involved. Where is his jurisdiction? The best France will be for application, but to say lawyer near the application. How did they send the application? It was, and to me, it was one of the darkest days in our legal life. Say, court beat my answer, but whatever it is, now send it here. The time was so short for anybody to file an application. Say, the court near any yamra because I did Kusi, and do file here before I best file na adiachi. Near several. The best several process, and until now, see if you taken good faith near my and near my cost, so send a bear mistake, go maybe to my correcting later. And that is what happened. A strange occurrence. Where the judge's opinion, the procedure was wrong. So we have situation where the judge opines like they see Kumasi during the argument, no, correct. You can go on appeal and challenge his decision. But where the it's unheard of. But it happened though, and I'm happy that it has gone in the records. Said ABC or Ghana. How many days you had the law school?
Pepi ni yakasa. Okan wasem no kakra wi a. Now the education tato. Meaning as sabi the oti ho a odi asem no ba no oye emranim ni a wasua de se de wasua de no. Na de nia sabi with all due respect or the common sense be kan ho. Eti wo common sense na de kan ho na ene ne de na anye pa nka be ha.
Emranim common sense. What do I say? Yeah, common sense mu amra nya sanke kwa kofa. Between me white, monya experience will be as some common sense. Then go apply. Where you work law school, you have to tell you kind of district court, not about circuit, and not about high court. All these things is to train your mind to make legal decisions. And do the common sense could be as a more high court. I said, what?
As I'm not
you may not like it, but that is the law. You have to apply it as it is. And that is why we are challenging the decision.
Nice one. Our client, apart from holidays or buy, or adwen fufuro bi fa okunu wo ne ho ne anamon bi a wo sere wo ma odi na mani 2 year wo court no ho ana.
Oni adwen fufuro bi oba fie besra abusia. Mekura na mene ni nhia ya kasa ofon so nto obedo nsa betum nsayem adofo ba so say na Ghana for si don. It tells you that Ghanaians disagree with the decision of the court. Ghanaians disagree with the decision of the court.
Nipa na kweshia no airport one na ma dwena yem kesene na na.
Of course, no don't bring me back and talk about that.
Nipa wo omkweshia maami wo airport one. Any one more bay, you know, what quantify ahwe?
I'm a quantify.
Yeah, in a dozen.
The funeral, let me tell you about the relative term of the numbers. In fact, numbers, no, one could share a dozen, but that is even a lighter side of it. Because with himself, Akosua Serwaa's arrival in Ghana was uncertain. And they took just a few hours to organize those people we saw at the airport. And the advertising and Kabir. A year to the advertising, yeah, big boss. A big bubuye. And so, a nipama, a more free districts in a zone baby. What does it? You could see how light the attendees were. So, compare every fan says Akosua Serwaa na just obey a year. And I just say a Kohan, Kumasi Bakobeka, and an asso. Yankum.
Like social media, they say, oh no, you don't pass across Ohewachi. Cause social media, and I'm a nipa, you feel just a security behind porous.
No, correct. Now, me, sura above for, and your road at the end, means more sura above for Obama home by Tessia Panty. A mayor, a hunter, Sanya Medoy. When him say, Alibaba. Me finally happy, there were threats. My wife was even threatened. Pressure, domestic pressure, I mean, happy. Because that pressure, if it is obvious that we had a bad case, why will anybody threaten anybody? We are standing for justice and we will get it. I'm so confident.
Lawyer, yes, na Papa Shikra, Kratebi, and Crawford feel say a original certificate down more than a photocopy or two baby said and Crawford big canon. As I mean, my card is a document in Bao. And no question what certificate biaba. Na sanetia Obama kwama omudi akocha.
Certificate I mean can some in court we usually send the copied ones and they did dance here. And we got her to send us a certificate. And yeah copies in the court. You now say judges okay or the 2 million or so better originals.
Na Zion View Construction and Services Semming has show say, what I say who you made the Biafanina ever show monsa from start to finish was the dine we upo bio obesi dining umpe dino upe say yankasa yensi and famawa for dying ye besi dino edi amount Sabana dampness treatment and na ufie no aputobi bre ajo hon edi aboswana for dying ye bayeni na kama aklekle bebia edi amount Sabana stamped concrete for compound upe concrete papa edi aye compound na ni nyina ye Zion View Construction and Services Sabana Italian graffiato and ye walls a paper beba fefe ni nyina wo pebidia ni nyina ye numbers na egu screen asenfa na oni ending komo
Kusi Serwaa envelope odi mail by na akurai ye de court so originals nini. And we were all surprised when the judge says office they are going baby na and your original na. And look, the level of
judge no who say judge na dwen ye ne say enyo original mo koye ne baby
me ayabo apaye ontime nhu say now the document who no doubt is you could see it's not from Ghana
because
your family book
apart from your caliber na we be present here dey bia judge bi be ka say enye no obi akofa free baby na say e wo say ebisa ho asem yi pa then pa na be be ntia e ma na adwene be ne say mo koye free baby na enye original
adwene boni
Angel.
It is otherwise,
and you know that no and pinu me integrity kura to suggest that me no go for fake documents about court. What for? What am I going to gain from it? Because I know sincerely that the parties, the lawyers on the other side knew it was genuine. The judge herself knew it. Now what's your judgment? Judge, initial stages of the judgment say evidence will say or ordinance marriage certificate from Germany. They are only second one, and until the document cannot be original. Otherwise, it wouldn't sit with her decision. And I want to make answer. I say,
Clay.
Exactly. If she has to decide against us, then she has to say that the certificate was fake. Otherwise, there was no window for her to decide that both of them were wives. And on a lighter side, she has always sought to explain that she met them in the middle and then promoted peace. You get the point? And in the attempt to promote peace, she has to say our certificate was fake. My certificate, I can tell on authority, it wasn't fake. It was original certificate from Germany. So, Netiano.
Wow. Lawyer, that's it. Now, what are my Ajuma Ekurawi? Abushia, SCA that Lumba, Mamre Quanshi, appear who be here of you. Na kwa be.
Oh, in fact, o share nkrata me de call court. Enye frunti na me de call court. Me seeking for injunction because we saw a rush to bury the body when we were talking about who is a wife and who can perform. These were the two things that the court had to address as far as we are concerned. If you don't can really for I have to phone that you file process if you they want to do a postmortem. And that the opinion is not even the rightful person to conduct the funeral. I know Yabusiafo, they had their lawyer. Maybe the status of Akosua as a wife is what I was prosecuting. And it is as relevant today as it was when the action was taken, because I've said this, said the disease is cancerous. As because the cancerous. I tell you, low, my bet spread just say alone, you know. It is very bad for a court to look at the certificate of a country like Germany and say that fake. Couldn't him say in diplomatic circle, that country can also say they won't accept any certificate from Ghana because of that decision. And I will be irresponsible if I sit down for that to happen. And what I can do is to prosecute an appeal, which will probably look at it differently and say that, oh, it was an original certificate. Because German certificate, the idea, one social media, people were posting this. There were no signatures of the parties on the certificate. And it will conclude that because the Akosua Serwaa about the certificate signature, no, Akojibi, the almost sign. Everything we said was true, except that they had to refuse it in order that they can create peace in court. But it is tried knowledge to be worried under German, or to be worried second wife. I don't know, I ABC. So to succeed in doing that, they have to say, we couldn't lead evidence to show so our Germany. But Miss Mamma said, so one, the representative, your Dobroni court. In his evidence was see Lumba Kachum so worry or Germany. Nadana mo worry no. Ye bisa no see our now I didn't break it down beyond record. One kasi were good no. I break the records are there for people missing microphone proceedings, especially almost criticizing. They should look at the proceedings and know exactly what happened. They admitted Lumba had told them on 2 occasions that he was married in Germany. And then Bizarre said, did you look at the certificate of divorce? Obviously, they didn't. And I'm saying, oh, I'm 419. That's the trend of the cross-examination. That if you knew somebody was married under German law, that's about you have to ask for a decree of divorce. Otherwise, it could happen that the marriage was subsistent. You get the point? So, to me, there was evidence overwhelming. Akosua says that he wasn't there when they were married, he wasn't there when they were divorcing. To them who has MDR. Although Brony witnesses there, Lumba Kachrom say, our dinner a good one customer could teach them. And so there was even evidence apart from the issue of certification and all. I say Mranama Kwanso Jitum, even though there was no certification. Until we are confident, and yes, Lumbanani and Bessie, and I hear you be and through Dobro, but we want the truth. What does I say?
The legend that the Lumba, what we know, ye see no, and I have one. And no money or Dobroni, so near Sembia, name mum no cray, was nothing but the truth shall set you free. Tinokrana Penwa,
Alibaba,
Papa.
When him says, we'll say, put it over some blanket and get in a woman. And we are very sensitive and mindful about that. We are not irresponsible. But you see, marriage, a big institution. Every society, marriage, media grown. Society, break it down. Yeah, and Yali so-called worry, and by a month, the second one. We should respect that. Obaso worry too. Amani awadi o waria to this man boss. I can focus the nye for ebro. Muslims don't say for I can afford you can marry more than 4. once it is under customary marriage. Why? Who is compelling them to marry under those ordinance laws so that they can marry? Who is compelling them? If you make a choice, you should live by it. You can't get the court to say, I don't respect your certificate because it has not been certified, when the facts are quite obvious. And what do we do in court? Justice.
Of course.
The truth is very important. You can't gloss over it. And you see, we refer to the judge, say, the Supreme Court has several said the court should not rely on technicalities and for them to defeat justice. It is so when the facts are there, you don't say, when the law has given a caveat, say, certify a crana, that's a mreni. We took 8 days to hear a complete case. Ghana, what to be that day? 8 days at the case that we wanted to cooperate with the judge to come to the end before the funeral, which we did. And you see that we have been quiet about the judgment.
Angel.
Because he appealing, he has ever commented too much. We go to the course of appeal. We only come in when people are trying to blame us. They are perfect work within that short time. Lawyers, lawyers, organ 5. The lawyer
I don't know.
Last week, a friend is Frimpong. I'm not Frimpong.
Yeah, lawyer, not Frimpong.
Mr. Ona now, social media, so to I am pure, so 70 HM.
What in the meal?
Because I'm a classmate.
Okay, just look at you.
I'm a classmate.
Law school and basic.
Law school.
Well, okay.
Oh no, I'm jurisprudence to be called no Makola. Any jurisprudence.
It's not the
okay. To be said, Warina or say for 15 years. I mean, and you see the facts he was narrating he was threatening the law because you see they were ordinary resident in Germany or Bani Okunu or Ma Echo School or Majuma or Mufi or and a man no yes or Bagana one I deserted in young Wawadi. Wow, bag Ufria if you have Bagana no. Or Bano to Germany I deserted. How can anybody even have that level of reasoning? Unless we have anybody. And if the judge says that Odizeti Lumba, I mean, why? 1 + 1 identify for now. Maybe no what you German nationals. No one free Germany about Ghana. Also, remember that. I did a logic. But the judge was bold to make all these comments. Instead of saying Lumba deserted the woman, probably that would have been a light better. Oh, Lumba deserted. There was a desertion. It was Lumba who deserted. Not the other way around. So, but they made all these commentary and people are not cheap.
I need Jim Kwaso, Chevini could be a Lumba Dakaso. Na Yebekin kind, Nipim ne wola. Then you're meaning come out client, Akosua Serwaa, me imagine American. Rebecca saying, Obesan court to be there, Panama Jeffrey court after weighing nation.
Meko court, according to Meko probate.
Say. Niamana Lumba be a wire willa. Niama or the Ama Ubeko court I could prove. Okay. Maybe say more lawyers here and we are money and kukum.
So far, will be a unity.
Na me can say Kobase, a Chinabia could be so na the all can your clients na, the all can be your client and one. A dear being a cawope. Obepese best reverse here ye review.
The same guys here reverse me interest were you. What has it? The same interest were can say court unkase na Lumba yere abra o tiasi ye. Akosua say one no need bia.
Oh okay.
But no one ma e won pena.
Na and I can't
and so anything no na wo dia yempra. What dia say?
Solomon yes no wives and concubines. The concubines na ye ni mo.
I'm not to judge whether it was wrong for him to have taken a concubine. No, I'm not judging on that. You get the point. What I'm saying is that the law is that Lumba was married to Akosua Serwaa and no other person. Because the man said, "Oh, and the ordinance doing what the second one." To phobia or mistress.
It's in some way, and a lawyer could see Eddie Ababe Tuja, which Mamma could say, a holidays, and a Obabi. The answer said there is more to it, and that's it, and no one NC in a deno a buy. The best house so a coming up here, in the Bebremo, GhPage TV, and as boy enterprise, so we see dine, who could be obviously dining more Eddie amount from start to finish. Fashion and sa, your designs, F, and sunway for your bed, two dining, come. It's about modern interior decor. Nina, you better take come Eddie. I'm on a business screen as a fa. Now, in the Comodacha, hima, Nana, Epia, Arepa, enemy, Yedimu.
Abusian for a higher top roof timber. Na top roof timber. Eyo Juma Cookers, Juma Coach and Chilenchebia, Abe Pimo, Sokobine Wood Village. Na Abusian for a Mujuma Mudiani, yourself, or Muton in Ria Aya, the Bodan so. In Ria Waho, Doom Wawa, Sapele, Mahogany, but a Drebi at the Bodan so ye bianum, Oba Sokobine Wood Village. Now, oh, you top roof timber industry. Ombenya and really be at the amount. Now, some dene as a million, as some fair woman in an so as I say. What ton you know, or site to baby, what they corner, say, ya man pon, say, ya gonna say, you suita, say, ya crack, say, ya gonna baby bianum, or more the beko ammo free, that is transportation, no, free, or the begu, or mama come, no, the aquama free. Sounds soon as a movie, no, some of the call site to another 9 year more swap. That's a wow feel said 9 year mosomawa. Sounds on a top roof timber, a bed board dinosaur, come. Dinosaur born a friend installation, or board dinosaur brequan, or munjo dama, or munju kobo, or munju city, or munju sikabia, anti fat number na eguasianum. Now Fred top roof timber now no more any inkita na say muni yes muno muni inkita ho na inkita hodie no obekira say free transportation free installation na say omo de car be fa nneoma na abro free omo de bro free wi a na fe o so fele say omo bodan no so mawa omo be san so abodan no so ama free enti abusuafo top roof timber ewo wood village can't kire Ghana for nyina mo amwo aburo kire titiriu wo diskana ma obi wa diskana wo diskana ma wabusuan for madi wo de for scan bra top roof timber na omo nkọ bow dan no so fefefe abro ko omo nye da ma nye utaku wo to nua na yakọbọ so ama